There are crucial moments in our lives, times when we make a decision that can have an incremental or a seismic outcome. It alters our life trajectory, who we are, who we can be. The significance of these moments is of our own making. It is our choice entirely to step forward or to remain in the place of comfort, of familiarity, our place of safety, and maybe even the place that sheltered us when we were newly fledged, or the place we yearn to return to, even if we've outgrown it. It is where our life stays small. For me, this place is my childhood bedroom, a place that now exists only in memory. How can we create these crucial, decisive moments for ourselves? How can we step around what might hold us back from the small version of life? I'm Kirsty Foster. I'm an adventurer, an expedition leader, a creative, and an explorer of human potential. For over 20 years, I've worked with groups and individuals in remote wilderness, mountains, desert, jungle, with tribal people in remote communities. I've walked in nature, in the footsteps of animal and human alike, stood in megacities and worked integrally in my home community. A key element of my work is immersive, visceral experience. It is real, grounded, intentional, imperfect, not some theoretical idea. This creates space for learning, offers different perspectives, enables individuals to grow exponentially. I have sought to continually learn and grow alongside those I have worked with. This gives me fuel and dynamism for my journey. As a girl of 14, I was too scared to go on school trips. Sometimes I would register to attend, then I would find an excuse not to go. Mostly, I didn't even sign up. It wasn't because I didn't have dreams and aspirations, but my life was small and unexercised. I hadn't connected with or activated my potential. I wasn't even aware that it was innate or latent within me, or that I could step out into so many experiences and places in the world. Instead, I was caught in ideas and projections of my own making that made the world seem too frightening, too challenging for me. Sometimes I imagine going back to my 14-year-old self, usually at times when I have a challenge or an area of growth to make. She is there in the attic room with slanting walls, in my childhood home. It's Sunday night and she's recording the charts from the radio in a cassette player with a finger poised on the pause record button. The room is colourful with posters, quotes from literature, lyrics from songs. From the window, I can see a sliver of the sea in the distance. I go to her and say, "Look what I am doing now." We'll laugh together. She is the essence of me, my ungrown self, the one who is most able to acknowledge who I am, and most importantly, where I have travelled from. Recognising my past self doesn't make me feel like an imposter in my current life. Instead, it is an expression of joy, an acknowledgement of the choices made, the summation of what brings me here. In the present, I'm viewed in the light of my accumulated experience, my skills, capability, and capacity. The external reading of me, of what I bring. Only my 14-year-old self and I inhabit my inner world and know the route I have travelled. In March 2020, like all travellers, I was grounded from my usual outward activity, the usual face-to-face work with a group of people, getting on a flight, adjusting to a new place, another continent, language, time zone, a newness of experience. This was curtailed. All the usual physical, mental and emotional stretches of myself were tempered, changed. Instead, I galvanised all the learning, perspective and insight in different ways. I delved into my creative side and immersed in the natural world as we all, in our own different experiences of lockdown, became more inwardly focused. I found myself casting back to my 14-year-old self and began exploring how this teenager with agoraphobic tendencies, unable to go on school trips, became an international traveller, a leader, facilitator and creative force with a deep, rich history of experience, ripe with tall tales and escapades from across 6 continents. How could I distill and decant this in a way that would enable others to activate it in their own way, to step into their potential and create their own broad story? I'm a regular runner, not because I'm a purist or hardened athlete. Primarily it burns off the cake and biscuits I eat. Most importantly, it creates a space for mental buffering, processing, allowing my brain to go into freefall. I run in the early morning. I'm not keen at all to get out of bed. I get dressed, leave the house and start running. My method is to get up quickly, dress, step out of the house and close the door before I have the opportunity to procrastinate and persuade myself otherwise with all the versions I can creatively muster. It takes direct and swift action to get ahead of my negativity, which can be a skillful and creative gatekeeper. I always feel better on return. I have a sense of having won over myself immediately at the start of the day. As with my work, my daily start point is experiential, creating actual, visceral memory in the body. There is something about stepping outside that door each day, of continually having to repeat that action, pushing against my own negative inclinations, all the ways my fast, clever brain gets going with all the reasons why I should delay, wait until later, not go running at all. By running swiftly, my negativity has little time to persuade me otherwise and stops its efforts. But if I linger, I can become immersed in negativity. My exploration began looking into negativity in the widest terms, how it inflects on human experience. The answer I found was immediate and definite and made me feel better. Better that it was not just me having an excess of negative voice within me. Neuroscience has long understood that humans have a negativity bias, an asymmetry in the way that we make sense of the world, using positive and negative information. The reason and purpose for this is to protect us and enable us to respond to risk and danger. Negative experiences and thoughts take precedence in our considerations, even if there are equal positive elements. So we naturally coalesce with these negative predispositions that keep us safe and alert, but can prevent us from giving proper consideration and acknowledgement to the positives in life. In addition to our negative predisposition, every thought we have releases chemicals which affect us. When we have positive thoughts, the body produces serotonin, which creates a feeling of well-being. It increases creative thinking. It can widen our attention span and change our perception from a focus on me to we. In our brain, the prefrontal cortex is where all mind and brain functions converge to be distributed. This area of the brain reflects the impact of thinking patterns and related chemical release at a physiological level. When happy thoughts occur, the prefrontal cortex enforces existing synapses and creates new ones. These can enable the brain to make new connections, new predispositions that reflect in the body and experience of the individual, producing new neural connections and pathways. Whereas when negative feelings are experienced, the brain draws metabolic energy from the prefrontal cortex, meaning it can't perform at high or even normal function, which can make it difficult to take in new things, also to think creatively. These negative feelings, when they are experienced consistently, can alter the plasticity of the limbic system, which has been found to manage feelings of motivation, reward, learning, as well as fight, flight and hormones that regulate the immune system. So negative thoughts have a profound effect chemically, emotionally, and manifest in lessened well-being and immune system response. Negative thoughts, it seems, are far more toxic than I realised. The internal battle we undertake is working to combat a persuasive predisposition that, through being hardwired to protect us, can also hold us back. How can we use all of this as fuel for the journey forward in life? We can thankfully counteract this and create our own new positive connections and pathways. We can hardwire ourselves to think positively and therefore create more serotonin, more positivity, and therefore more capacity to be creative, to be other, to be courageous. In the study of human brain development, it was thought that only in childhood was the brain malleable to new learning. Santiago Cajal, considered the father of neuroscience, coined the term neuroplasticity long before evidence of this emerged in the latter 20th century. Learning a new ability, repeated experiences, and regularly practicing something all make systemic adjustments in the brain, showing its plasticity, its dynamism to grow and orient in different ways. So, despite our primal negative predisposition, we can positively orient ourselves at any age and utilise our profound brain capabilities to do so. I could still be that girl in the bedroom. I might be a nice person, creative, thoughtful, desire the greatest happiness for all. But I would be a small flame, hidden from view, without the ability to grow and fully share, without the tools to propel or fulfil myself. I would like to draw to conclusion with an encouragement to utilise our lifelong ability to learn and flourish, to make the choice to resist the internal negative voice, however persuasive and encompassing, and step out, to take a step. You do not need to embark on travel to remote and exotic places, but experience exactly where you are, exactly as you are. There is no need to be superhuman or compare yourself to others. Instead, all you need to do is immerse in your own inner wilderness and forge your path, armed only with persistence, patience, and repetition. No other specialist tools or knowledge are needed, other than all you innately have, all that is liminal, latent, waiting to be stimulated. My 14-year-old self eventually stepped out and went on an experiment in life with no set destination other than to work with people and create value. And here I am. My journey continues. I am not remarkable. I have my own unique potential to activate, as each of us do. I overcame my internal resistance, my negativity, which had grown to Himalayan proportions before I could actually scale a Himalayan mountain in person. In undertaking this journey, in training myself in these inner realms, I know I will never be so stuck again, that things will not be straightforward, that I can create a happy, fulfilling way ahead, and that I can create my flourishing future alongside others. The view is amazing out here. Come see for yourself.